Our first guest is Shk Uthman ibn Farooq, who is an American Muslim scholar and da'i. He teaches at the Masjid Al-Riba in San Diego, California. He has attained multiple ijaza in books of Hanbali fiqh, usul fiqh, and a master's degree in hadith sciences. In recent years, he has become incredibly popular in the dawah scene with his public debates and videos on YouTube. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Shk. Welcome to the show.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's a pleasure being here.
And it's a pleasure having you, mashallah. And welcome to the UK, mashallah. How has it been for you so far, inshallah?
I love the UK, amazing community, beautiful country, green pastures, and great weather. Just kidding about the weather. But they do have great halal food, so you got to give them that.
You could get spoiled with the amount of halal food joints that we have in the UK. Absolutely. You know, we really want to focus on your dawah work. In the last few years, all of a sudden, I see your face everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. It seems to be like an explosion of Shk Uthman. Can you tell us, how did you begin in the field of dawah?
Alhamdulillah, wa salatu salam ala rasulillah. Basically, at an early age, I grew up in a rough neighborhood in San Diego, got caught up in gangs, and at the age of 12, I became an actual gang member and got caught up in that life that, I had no Muslim friends, I had no good influences, just, ended up in some pretty dark places with some pretty dark situations, and seeing the death of many of my friends, especially one that was very close to me. They got shot 9 times, head blown off, burying him and looking at him being put into the ground and realizing that money, wealth, respect, fame, girls, whatever you may be thinking that is measures of success mean nothing, because in the end we go back to our Creator. Made me realize that there is a higher purpose. And as I realized that, I felt that those people that I grew up with, those people on the streets that are lost, needed to hear that message. So I started to go out and speak to people on the streets in rough neighborhoods, and just individually, no organization, no government, no funding, no pamphlets, nothing, just talking. Alhamdulillah, it grew from there. People started accepting Islam, changing their lives, alhamdulillah. And then other brothers got involved. They set up organizations, set up tables. And alhamdulillah, by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's been growing. In the last couple of years, we've had more than 2,500 people accept Islam.
Akbar.
And that's not counting the early times. That's just counting the last 2 years. Alhamdulillah.
SubhanAllah, that's fantastic. May Allah bless you to continue to do more of this amazing work. Your endeavors in the field of dawah, in spreading the message of Islam, you could have chosen any other avenue. You could have started a charity, you could have started a TV channel. There's so many different avenues that you could have utilized to spread Islam. Why did you decide to do it on the street in the way that you do, with the sign saying Jesus is a prophet of Islam, the things of that nature? Why did you choose that particular route?
For me, I always want to go back to the Quran. I always go back to the Sunnah of Al-Mustafa alayhi salatu salam. Looking at the mission of the prophets, there's many aspects to it. So, for example, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, used to give huge amounts of charity. Whatever he would get, he would give. And no doubt that's a part of Islam. He would spend a lot of time on knowledge and teaching and encouraging the Sahaba to be educated and knowledgeable. He would show them good characteristics and how to be kind to people. All of that's a part of Islam. But the main job of the Prophet is to connect the creation to the Creator, to take people back to the purpose of their creation, the worship of the one Creator, so they can enter that everlasting, beautiful paradise and have that bliss of seeing their Lord. So seeing that being the main purpose, I wanted to focus on that. Looking at the Quran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders the Prophet alayhi salatu salam, Ba'da a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Qul hadihi sabili. Say, he tells the Prophet to say, this is my way. Ad'u ila Allah. I call towards Allah. Ala basira, upon clear evidences and knowledge. Ana wa man ittaba'ani. Me and whoever makes my ittiba', whoever follows me, this is their way. So seeing that, I decided to dedicate myself to da'wah, appreciating what other people are doing in other fields, and being involved in them as well. In our masjid, we try to help the poor. We had, many times we have food for the homeless and people of need. We have lessons for Muslims. We have programs for young Muslims. But the focus to take people who were lost in the darkness of this world into the light and peace of Islam.
SubhanAllah. You know, dawah is synonymous with Ahmadiyyat, those old VHS videos we used to watch back in the olden days. So people automatically think, wow, you have to be so well versed in all the different scriptures and the quotes and the different dynamics that go with giving dawah to that particular community. Now, if somebody wanted to do that, but they're a little bit intimidated by the fact, or the understanding that they have to learn all these things, how, in the absence of that particular kind of knowledge, how can they give dawah on a day-to-day basis?
Again, we always go back to the advice from our beautiful Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In the authentic narration, he told us, "Qul," and he said, "Ballighu anni walau aya." He says, "Convey upon me, even if it's just a verse." So you don't have to be a memorizer of the Virdas and the Puranas like Dr. Zakir Naik, may Allah reward him. You don't have to be an expert debater like Ahmad Didat, may Allah have mercy upon him. You know, he's passed away. And many times you just may know a few things from the Quran and you can convey it to your neighbor. You don't have to debate. Da'wah is not about debate. We're not debaters. We go out to give da'wah. Yes, at times, when people come and become obstacle to the da'wah, we have to debate them and clarify those views and clarify their misconceptions. But we're not about debate. We're about conveying a message. So if you know that there is only one creator that needs to be worshipped and has the haqq to be worshipped, talk to your neighbors, talk to your co-workers, talk to the classmates, to people around you. And if you don't know something, go to the scholars, go to the people of knowledge, ask them. Even our videos on the One Message Foundation channel on YouTube are meant to be training for people to see how we handle those questions. They can look at the verses from the Bible, they can look at the verse from the Quran being put on the screen, and they can take notes and they can use that in their da'wah.
Absolutely. You know, but some critics of da'wah may say, what you're saying sounds all very nice, but from what I've experienced of the dawah, you know, thinking about Speaker's Corner, it seems to be a lot of shouting, a lot of vitriol. It just seems like it's like every da'i is trying to get that gotcha moment. What would you say to a person who's saying that it's just about argumentation and trying to ram your opinion down somebody's throat? What would you say to somebody who holds that opinion?
I would tell them that they haven't watched our videos. Because alhamdulillah, our da'wah is not about that. The majority of our da'wah are peaceful, calm conversations where alhamdulillah, people accept Islam. And again, I want to respect our brothers and sisters who've been doing the da'wah in the UK. They were trailblazers, those at Speaker's Corner that, alhamdulillah, may Allah reward them for the good that they're doing. I've been to Speaker Corner once, Hyde Park, and it wasn't my scene. Like I saw too much just arguing and people just roaming like as if they're gladiators in a coliseum and clashing, and so it wasn't my thing. But again, I appreciate what the brothers and sisters have been doing. Our da'wah is not like that. And if somebody doesn't want to do that, they don't have to go to Speaker's Corner or Hyde Park. There's other brothers in London, mashallah, like the One True Message brothers who set up tables and alhamdulillah, they give da'wah. And you can join brothers like that. Our brothers from the One Message Foundation, we don't go out to debate. We put out tables, we share the information about Islam in a calm manner. You know, if that's what you want to do da'wah, you don't have to be a debater. If somebody wants to debate, you can tell them, look, it's not my thing. I'm just here to convey a message. If you don't want to hear it, keep walking.
Now, you've mentioned that you've had 2,000 people took Shahada.
More than that, alhamdulillah. More than that. In the last 2 years, we're looking at about 2,500 plus.
And I know you've been doing a lot of travel. You were telling me before we came on here that you've been to Chicago in particular. Can you tell us about your experience there, inshallah?
Alhamdulillah. I mean, the last month before coming out to the UK, I was in Dallas, Texas, I was in New York, I was in Chicago, and may Allah reward all the people doing da'wah in all these cities that really kind of came out and helped. And we had great results. In New York, we had 30 people that accepted Islam on over 3 days. Alhamdulillah, in Chicago, we went out to some masajid, we did some programs with AIM, the Authentic Ilm Mission, but also we went out to the streets, West Chicago and different areas. And one of the most unique places I went is called O Block, which is pretty famous in the hip hop scene. A lot of the youngsters know it is one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in America. I mean, being the most dangerous city kind of switches from back and forth, but O Block has consistently in South Chicago been known as a murderous, gang-infested area. Many rappers and things, King Von and others were from there that got killed. And alhamdulillah, they recently, like Little Dork and others, they accepted Islam.
Allahu Akbar.
And many rappers are afraid to even go there because of the gang pressure out there. If you don't know the people, you're not allowed to be out there. Even the police, I mean, when we went out there, the police was warning us not to go. And when I first got there with the brothers, and of course we're from different backgrounds, different colors, different ethnicities, the police was telling us, you can't be here, you're going to get hurt. And we told them, we don't fear anybody. We fear none but Allah. And the police told us, look, we're not stopping you, but we're just telling you, you better be careful out here. And I told them, look, we're not afraid of the hood. I was raised in the hood. We're not afraid of anything. So alhamdulillah, we went out there, we started giving da'wah, and 20 people became Muslim in one day.
Allahu Akbar.
In only a few hours that we were out there, 20 people. Alhamdulillah, some of the videos are already up, and many are going to be coming on the One Message Foundation YouTube channel. You'll see people that were involved in gangs, 14-year-old kids walking around with guns. I mean, people, we're not talking about just knives and stakes. We're talking about kids with Glocks and things like this. Yes. And you'll see them accepting Islam. You will see them leaving, just from a few words of a conversation.
In fact, there's a real thirst.
There is.
For guidance and for something.
That is why
other.
It's very important for us as Muslims in the West to first and foremost set a good example. If we get involved in drugs and gangs, then what kind of example are we going to set?
Of course.
And secondly, it's very important for us not to be afraid to reach out into the worst of neighborhoods, into the scariest of areas, because there are people that need to connect to their Creator and change their lives. 20 people within a few hours, imagine that. If they can be saved from the hellfire, what's better than that? Money, fame, nothing compares to taking somebody away from that kind of a lifestyle and connecting them to the pure, clean, peaceful life of Islam.
Allahu Akbar. We've seen quite recently, Sneeko, alhamdulillah, has embraced Islam. Of course, people like Andrew Tate, Sinead O'Connor, who passed away recently.
I heard.
We see a lot of famous influencers embracing Islam. And some people may say they're just doing it because it's a fad. They're going to get more views. They're going to get more likes. They're going to get it's clickbait, basically, for them. Do you think it's a fad, or do you think it's a sincere adherence to the truth of Islam?
I am never one to doubt people's intentions, because only Allah knows the hearts of people. And we judge on the apparent. And apparently, Andrew Tate, for example, I don't think he gained notoriety from becoming Muslim. I don't believe he became more famous. Rather, I think a lot of people attacked him. Our brother Sneeko, and he took his shahada with me in my house. You can see the video on the channel. And I saw him to be sincere. He was very humble when he came to our mosque. He sat on the floor with other brothers. He listened to the lecture. He could have been in places with movie stars and actors and so on, but he was in the masjid with us. So what we see is a sincere change and a person who's struggling to submit and be a better person. And again, we don't want to make these kind of influencers into role models. These aren't people. If you want to look up to somebody, look up to the prophets, look up to the Sahaba, the Salaf al-Salihin, the great A'imma and Ulama of the past, the great scholars that we have, the people of Zuhud. Those are, they're pious people, are the people we look up to. But people like this who are accepting Islam, whether they're basketball players or influencers or movie stars, we'll be happy for them. Islam doesn't need them. They need Islam. Alhamdulillah. And what we see is that they don't gain fame from it. In fact, sometimes they lose subscribers because their base is not Muslim.
Yes.
But they gain the akhirah, the hereafter. They gain that beautiful, clean life of living a pious life if they follow it. And that is more important than anything else. And we hope Allah gives them and us istiqamah, steadfastness upon the truth.